We're rolling.
Cheers.
So I needed to part 2 this because
Yes.
you tapped into something on the first episode where we realized so many things after years of being involved in it and like experiencing it and like having traumas that we didn't even know we were having. The corporate life as a woman of color.
On it.
I mean, we woke up in 2020, like September 2020 was like, oh my God, I've been gaslighted.
Right.
For like 10 years.
And I didn't know.
And then we're like, I've been traumatized.
Right.
It was a thing. It was a whole revealing process. So I want you to tell, what was your experience with realizing what you've been going through and how did you cope?
Thank you. Hello? First, so I've been, and you and I have been, my background is in fashion. I graduated from LIM.
Yes.
Hello.
I love LIM. That's not my alma mater, but I fuck with them. I'm not going to say it. They are they're great with their student body. Very. Especially with entrepreneurship.
Yeah.
And just broadening the horizon. But continue.
Yes, I'm on the board.
So.
Yeah. So I started my career in fashion, in magazines, in lifestyle publications, and then I was over it. I'm like, whatever. So I wanted to make the shift to entertainment. And it was in thinking of, or sort of being in that space. Now we're in 2020. We're seeing our people and all this stuff. Being in that space and sitting back and seeing on TV what gaslighting is, and, you know, on CNN, seeing, you know, some of these public figures being gaslit and microaggressions and such. Yeah. And then, you know, going to work and thinking about my just career. And I'm like, holy shit, that happens to me too.
Oh my God.
What I will always get a lot is, when I started to think about it, it would piss me off and it would make me upset to even just go to work or even think about work. Was I would get a lot that, oh my God, you're so put together. What the fuck am I supposed to be? What does that mean that I'm put together? As if you're expecting me to be something a bit different.
It's almost like I'm like in the moment. I'm ready to fight.
Right?
Yeah. It's like what do you mean?
What does put together mean? Because for me, that's a given, right? Isn't that like common that people should come presentable?
Yeah.
So for you to say that to me, what the fuck does that mean? And then certain people moving in corporate to get me fired, to get me sort of put on like a probation of sorts, right? And me being singled out, and I'm so happen to be a black woman versus my, you know, non-black counterparts that are running amok on the team, in the background, in the industry, and they're not, you know, they're not even talked to. Yeah. So why is that? And I started to think about and reflect on, well, damn, this has happened to me. This hasn't happened to me a couple times, but I'm thinking at like events that I've been at or tables that I've sat at where I'm the only black woman at the table and I'm getting stares, like stared down. And I hate when people stare at me. It makes me uncomfortable. And then seeing what both men have said to me, what white women have thought they felt comfortable with saying to me. And reflecting on this, I'm starting to get mad at myself. Like, damn.
Because you felt that you allowed it, but you didn't know.
Exactly. I allowed all this shit and I didn't say anything. Me? I speak up, honey.
Right.
So how dare I do that? And I'm so hard on myself that I allowed this shit to happen for a decade. I cannot return to this. I cannot go back without saying something that'll hurt somebody's feelings. So then, you know, we're in a pandemic. My position at the time, I was furloughed specifically because they couldn't keep up with paying everybody. Yeah. But it was a blessing in disguise. It was a blessing in disguise because God knew that this isn't for you. Yeah. Like, this isn't it. This can't be it. Like, you're seeing, now I'm awake. Now I'm seeing everything that's going on. And I can't live another day going to the same office, talking to the same people, knowing how I'm being treated, what's being said, and not say something that will hurt somebody, or a possible lawsuit will ensue. Yeah. So to cope was so difficult. It was so hard. Like, when I was going to work, waking up to go to work, and just feeling like defeated, isolated, the only person on the island in a corner, right? And then you walk outside of those doors and you still go through that shit in the regular world too. Right. Imagine what that does to your psyche and to your overall confidence. Like, it was terrible. So I started to go back to therapy. Yes. Going back to therapy, talking to my therapist about it, a Black woman.
I was about to ask
out to her.
You. Yes. I was about that because it's important to have some type of relatable component in therapy, but continue. Yeah.
No, very much. And I'm very much a person that I bottle it up and I try to just push through. Yeah. Right? And it was just weighing on me day by day. And then I realized it started coming out in my character. Like, I'm going off and I got the mean mug toward people that don't deserve it. And I'm taking that out on other people that probably don't deserve it or don't know what's going on. Right? Like, somebody had a good example of this. You can imagine being like a kid in a sandbox and you have another kid pinch you, right? And nobody sees it. And you're like, hey, I was just pinched. And you're calling out. You're like, what the fuck? And everyone's looking at you like, you're crazy. Like, what do you mean? I don't see anything. There's no one next to you. But this kid in the background was pinching you and like shoving you and doing all. That's how it felt for me to be in that corporate space at the time. And COVID for me was a blessing, but I returned to work now with a new organization that is completely different, night and day, in terms of how they treat their employees, how I feel. At this point, I don't give a fuck either. Yeah. I'm going to just say what I think. I mean, I can't hold my tongue anymore. I'm going to say how I feel, right? And at the time, this entire time, we're taught, like, when you're in these corporate spaces, don't say too much, don't do too much. You should be thankful to be here. So you got to be on your P's and Q's. But now it's like, you know what? I've done too much for me to silence myself any longer. And if it makes people uncomfortable, then it's not the space for me.
I think definitely 2020 was basically that time where we realized what we have been going through in corporate life. Yes. And in society in different ways. And I had been like booted out of a situation. And I remember my experience before that. I was very vocal. Right. Not really necessarily like my treatment as a woman of color, but more so just like how they did business. I'm like, no, well, you hired me to do this job, and these are the things and legalities that go into place. And because I was very vocal and straightforward, I'm not a soft-spoken person. I'm not like, ain't no sugarcoat nicing on this. Right. This is what you got to do. Right. Respect me. You hired me for the job, right? So you want me to tell you how it goes. But because of the tone that I've always had, and working with white men who love to feel the power of whatever they think they're powering over. Like, what power do you have? Right. But anyway, they had their ego bruised because a woman of color that they hired for the role was reminding them why they hired and why they're qualified, and they were envious of the fact that they could not do the role themselves. Right. Right. And I understand going through a time and space when I was in fashion, I had no voice. Yep. There was no conversation to be had about how I was feeling because one, I didn't know how to express it. Two, I didn't really know what it was. Right. I just felt uncomfortable. But then I also felt like, okay, maybe I have a chip on my shoulder and think all white people are crazy. Like, you know? Right. But I think there's a turning point in a lot of people, and I think it happened last year when we were just like, wait, what's gaslighting? Exactly. First of all, what's the definition? Like, mind blown. You know what I'm saying? Right. Like, we all learn a definition of gaslighting, and that there's very different variations of it, how it can come across. It can't, and it's not just, it comes from your own people. It comes from other groups of color. It comes from white. So there were so many different forms of that we all literally were mentally, we had the time to do it, to really realize what we experience. Right. And then we realized that therapy or different types of wellness was important to regain our focus and our core, because we felt like we lost so much because we felt like we let it happen. Exactly. Which it wasn't that we let it happen. We just didn't understand what it even was. And we didn't know if we had the platform to say, hey, you don't get to do that to me. Exactly. You didn't tell Bobby that he was wrong for wilding out, but you telling me because I'm saying something articulately. Exactly. And proving a point. Right. Right. And then, you know, going through that, and all the companies are, well, we're going to diversify. We're going to little black box on the grid.
spending X amount of dollars on diversity and inclusion.
We're going to hire a diversity culture director.
Right.
Well, where's the posting for the job?
Hello?
Did you hire them?
Or
Where
internally, why haven't you promoted the people that have been here for the last 3 or 4 years up to senior positions that they deserve?
So corporates all over the country, upheaval.
Hello?
And now they realize that people of color coming to work like, please don't talk to me unless you have a solution for what the fuck y'all been doing.
Right.
Wrong.
Exactly.
Like, don't talk to me.
Right.
And I think it's interesting because, I mean, I haven't been in a corporate space since 2019, I think it was. But people are telling me what's going on at my ex-workplaces, you know, fitness spaces or even fashion houses. I'm just like, yeah, like they need to get their shit together.
Exactly.
And they're mad because someone's exposing them.
Right.
So it's a very powerful evolution happening where women of color, men of color are really understanding what their voice is.
Right.
And there's no need to like even say it aggressively, angrily. Like, no, it is what it is. And you know you need us because nothing moves without us.
Fact. See, they're okay when you're high. I feel like some companies, and I was thinking about this, like I was hired because you were under the impression that, oh, she's enough. She's black, but she'll fit in with us. She'll fit in with our, you know, the ecosystem that we have. She can pass, right? Until I open my mouth and I tell you that's not going to happen.
Right.
What you thought will happen, or, you know, I'm keeping track of every conversation, every email thread. I got the text messages ready. So you can't tell me that I said something that I didn't, or I had a certain tone of voice when I did not. And you can't hold me to an accord that you're not holding my teammates and team members to. That won't happen. And I'm sitting in, I realized I was sitting in a room where you're trying to say, oh, well, Delisha, I remember this conversation vividly. And again, I've been doing this for 10 years and I've never had any issues or complaints. But when I started speaking up, realizing what's going on in the background, realizing there's some bullshit, realizing that you're playing favorites, they're telling me, oh, well, we've had, you know, complaints that you were, you know, how you're communicating is off, your tone. So using those trigger words, using those trigger words that affect black women, right? We're too aggressive, right? The communication is off, or how we're talking isn't the right way. Those trigger words you're using and you're saying to me on purpose, which is bullshit, because I'm still producing events for $1 million clients. Like you're saying this to me on a Tuesday, but on a Wednesday you want me to execute an event for this $1 million person, but my communication is off. That makes no sense.
Exactly.
So now you're trying to break down my mental, you're trying to break down my confidence and break me down to a level that you were comfortable with, right? Like she's at a 3. She can fit in with us. She fits the mold. She's still a person of color. Great. But now she's speaking up. Oh no.
Right.
She's doing too much. We need to bring her back down.
We don't like that.
It was a mess.
And it's weird because like when it happens in the moment, I remember I told someone who was trying to, like my area of expertise in my role was client services and then building services as well. Someone was trying to impose their PR role onto my plate. Right. I don't know PR. Right. And when I tried to explain to her, I remember consciously I said, okay, I'm black, so I got to do this very specific. Like
exactly.
Like I remember I planned my outfit a certain way, so I wasn't too like I got this brand, like you know I ain't wearing nothing name brand. Very humble, very clean cut. Right. I went into a certain room with her, and there was only one chair in the room. And I did it on purpose. I sat down. Because I didn't want to be taller than her, the eye different. Literally, and this is what kills me. Yes. People do not understand. We are so put into a corner that literally every single piece, every single piece of like way that we do things is it's planned.
Yes.
Why our parents always said we have to work harder than the rest.
Absolutely
but
right.
I literally went into work that day and I said I have to sit below eye level because I don't want her to think that this is me being aggressive.
Right.
And I said to her, I said, I was trying to, make sure that I was conveying this in email, but I'm not able to take on that particular project because that's not my area of expertise. That's your area and I'm not good with that. So I'm not comfortable taking on this project.
Very well said.
She said to me, and I said it like that because I said planned.
You got to be super strategic.
Everything from volume to tone.
Yep.
Programmed.
Right.
Because I don't want you to say this. Carolyn, you're aggressive. And literally, that was the response. And I said, I'm no longer comfortable in this room with you by myself. I have to leave. But that's all I wanted to say to you. Ooh. And then a couple months later, I was let go.
I've been there.
And it's so scary because it's just like, I'm literally telling you, I can't do the job right, man. You want me to do a job, you want me to do it well, and I can't do it. And I'm telling you that, or at least asking for help or more direction. And I'm aggressive because I'm saying that to you.
Yep.
And it's like people say, oh, Black women, they feel like they're victimized, they're stereotyped. Yeah, man, that shit is why it's different.
Thank you.
You don't have to think about your volume when you speak to people. Do you know?
Exactly.
You don't.
Right.
We do.
Right. How many emails have you written and rewritten and rewritten and rewritten and rewritten?
I have so many drafts.
Yes, because you are being super conscious of your tone because you can't come. You know that if you come off too aggressive, it will make them uncomfortable. For you to have a voice makes them uncomfortable, and that is the sad part.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
It's wild, and I don't think people really spoke about it at this level up until last year when everything started to really crumble in a way where we were like, oh my God, ashes, does this what the fuck we're going through?
Hello.
So I mean, going forward, so you're still in corporate.
Yes.
You still have
I still have my 9 to 5.
And it's a different experience, and I'm happy for that because it shows that some companies actually were paying attention.
Right. And don't get me wrong, I was afraid to go back.
I'm sure.
First of all, I needed to because I needed a coin.
Yeah. You got and the money is...
Hello? COVID did something serious to the world.
We're not all doing only.
Exactly. Hello? Can't sell these goodies.
I'm going to need to do it.
So I went back and I was very conscious up front because even in my last position, again, them trying to knock me down to a certain level, they found out that I was trying to be an entrepreneur and they didn't want that. They're going on my social media.
What?
Yes. When I tell you.
I mean, it's a norm, but like, don't analyze me like
going
that.
on my social media to see what I'm posting, if it's in relation to any of events that I've executed with the company or for the company, talking to other people about my character, trying to dig up information about me that was inaccurate, telling me that I have a certain rapport with clients that was untrue, and I pulled up the receipts to show you that it's untrue. It's like going hard because it's Mean Girls now. It amazed me because I'm never the type of person to think that people are jealous of me. I hate that word. I hate the word jealousy.
Because you think humans have good intent always and don't.
But I started to think back like, damn, the day that I started, I remember the stares, the looks, the up and down looks, right? I already felt the envy. And somebody feeling like I'm coming for their spot. Yeah. They wanted to eliminate me, right? So imagine walking into a room, you already know people are talking about you. You can feel it. So I intentionally wanted to go on to another company or organization where, I have a business, and I just want you to know that I do, and that's not going away. And then 2, I am going to be very transparent and upfront with you. Not in a way that's disrespectful at all, but it'll be a disservice to myself now that I know what I know to move forward and not just speak up for myself and my people. And luckily I'm with in a space where they execute events specifically that are diverse. They have a whole employee network where they execute events that are targeted for Black and brown professionals too. And I want to make sure that I have a voice and a hand in that, because we're not just saying it just to say it. You're not putting it out there just to check, a line off your box. Like, if you're going to be invested in representation and inclusion, let's really represent.
Exactly.
And how are we doing it?
And that's the only way a lot of these corporations are going to be successful in the long run, is when they actually take these things seriously. And make room for it. And I feel like I love that you approached it and said, I'm going to be vocal about what's right and what's wrong in a respectful manner. There's no like extra shit around it. It's just the workspace is supposed to be a certain way. It's supposed to feel real for everyone and fair for everyone. And if it's not, and there's these shady things happening, then how are you an ethical company?
Exactly. Thank you. And that's my pet peeve. Don't try to promote that we're all about diversity, but inside the corporation, you have 5 people out of 60 in a building that are people of color, and you treat those people like shit. Like, how down to HR. HR don't even have your back. Let's talk about that.
I'm gonna send you a link to something about HR. Oh my God.
Human motherfucking resources, my ass.
Exactly. And that's the part that really be tripping me. I'm like, how are you here for humans if you're only here for management?
Exactly.
Who
do I turn to with the complaint if I can't turn to HR to have my back?
Exactly.
I literally am pigeonholed, and it's like I'm damned if I do and I'm damned if I don't. You got to be strong as hell to go through and work in a corporation.
And you have to really come with all the receipts, too.
You have to.
But another reason, some of you said, too, I'm like, that's another way for companies to really get their shit together. Why wouldn't you want someone on your team that is an entrepreneur?
Thank you.
Because you know that they're going to hustle hard, and they're going to think of many different ways to do your business and to expand it, because they're doing it for themselves on their level as well. Like, you want to have someone who has chutzpah that's going to go against the grain. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Why wouldn't you want an entrepreneurship spirit in your realm?
Thank you. Especially when you're running the team in an entrepreneurial environment.
Exactly.
What the fuck is the difference?
The requirements is that you have to be a self-starting go-getter. That's an entrepreneur.
Exactly.
If it don't mix in, and if I'm respecting your time and in my time, let's make sure we cut off at that time, because I need to go into my job for myself.
Thank you.
And you know what I'm saying? Like, keep it clean. And then there's an opportunity for sometimes, if you have something that a company could collaborate with and actually enhance.
Thank you.
Why not have the opportunity? So it's very close-minded for a lot of these corporations to be like, well, if you have something else going on, then we don't know how that's going to work. Nah, like, and this is another thing. Black people can actually have many things going on.
Thank you.
Okay? Many things going on. And be like, yeah, have you met a black woman before? We're mothers, we're sisters, we're business owners. We have to do the house, build houses. We do all the things within one day.
Yep.
And sometimes it's like you got to take a break. We do take breaks. We're learning how to take breaks. But we are very capable.
Very.
Women of color are so.
I know.
You started black women.
Listen. Hello. Even at how I wear my hair, I pulled up to the Zoom call with this fro. I'm like, listen, you're gonna get all these curls now in its natural state.
And I want to get to the point where it's just like, oh my God, your curls like this. My hair, just like that's your
exactly.
hair.
I had people slacking me, literally on Slack on the side. Oh my God, I love your hair.
And it's for us, it's like, yo,
how'd you do that?
How, like, what products are you using? Because my shit don't pop off like that. Like, it's different when we're exchanging the product information. For them, it's like, well, I mean, it's just like, how does it bounce back?
That's a fact, though.
It's just like, well,
what you do to it?
And this thing. Sometimes I wish that when I blow dry, my hair would just stay. It's not. It doesn't. But I don't go about like, so how your hair stay straight like that? How? That's your hair. Damn.
Listen, I pull up to the Zoom every other week with the new hairstyle.
Her bounce back is so so luscious. I love the bounce back. But it's not to make us feel like we're a circus act. Like, don't point at me.
And
don't
also
fucking touch me.
I do want to make it clear too that just because we are vocal about our culture and how you need to show up for us in these spaces, I am not the single-handed voice for all black people.
Oh, yeah.
So when we're talking about programs and events that are focused on diversity, your first go can't just be Delisha. You need to educate yourself too on what's going on. Right. Yeah. So in this new role too, that's something that I'm making a priority. Like, no, you need to treat this new division of this company specifically for Black people. You need to treat it with the same care, intel, and take initiative as you do for all these C-suite executive events that you're planning.
Exactly.
Like,
do your homework.
Exactly.
Because if they really found out they go into a room, Black people, half of the Black people know how to play spades, and then half of the Black people don't.
Right.
We're not all the same.
That's true, because I do not know how to play spades.
Oh my God,
girl!
And then in that room, they be yes, definitely no player. And then in that room, they're like, damn, you don't know how to play Black. You ain't Black if you don't know how to play spades. Like, really?
Well, I got one. I know. I got at least one card revoked, but I got them all. I got the rest.
I don't know. Nothing about how to, and this is my problem, and this is for Black. If I tell you, next time I tell somebody I don't know how to play spades, and you know how to play spades, teach me how to play spades. Don't damn me.
Don't have me out here
knowing.
And I need to YouTube it when you can just teach me. The fuck. I'm like, let me YouTube how to play spades before I go to the cookout.
Well, listen, I definitely hope that who's ever watching this and listening. Taking notes.
You're taking notes.
But specifically, I want the people to take notes are the ones that are going into, as this world reopens, New World Order, whatever. That's a whole other episode. I don't know what the hell's going on. But whatever we're reopening back to, that it's okay to have these conversations knowing what we know now.
Yeah.
And to honestly be prepared, be professional, and make it understood that you're no different from other professionals.
Exactly.
Have your paperwork ready.
Right.
Have your notes noted.
Seriously.
And just speak from that.
Right.
Right is right. Fair is fair.
Exactly.
If it's literally black and white, if it's written,
right,
make it support you in whatever you're fighting for.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
I agree.
If because I also don't want people to be like, well, I'm Black, so they're going to have to listen to me. Okay, yeah, but be on point as a professional.
Listen, don't think, oh, because we're cool, I'm cool with Hillary, it's great. Nope. Write it down, even if you're talking to Hillary.
Write it down.
Right.
Because Hillary might need some learning points, too.
Exactly. Because Hillary doesn't...
might make mistakes.
Yeah, Hillary might not know that that's how she's speaking to someone of color can be offensive. And she's not being mindful of her words. Yeah. I don't think that all non-Black people are, have ill intentions, but they can be educated a little bit, but be open to that.
And the first step should be, hey, listen, I want to ask you something if you knew that that's how you came across. Yeah. Because this was my experience.
Exactly.
And I want people to literally take that sentence, because it's very important to like tone it down before you rush to something and be like, well, you racist and you done this.
Right. Exactly.
No. Do that on the second time they do this shit, after you help them understand what it looked like,
I gave
what
you
it
a
felt
warning.
like. Like I know we talked about it. So we gotta look at how you was raised.
Can't say you didn't know.
What you really thinking?
Exactly.
You did that shit twice now, and we had a conversation. I'm trying to keep a volume level.
I wrote it down at 9:26. I told you.
You was there.
Right.
I have the video.
Exactly.
So, as we go into these new spaces, to have these, have the confidence in yourself that you can manage. You can have these conversations. Don't be scared. And if you do get removed because you were doing the right thing, get a lawyer.
Exactly. Please say that again.
And a lot of people they get booted out or treated, and they're like, well, that was my experience, and they never look back. Go back with the ammo.
Yes. Fact. Even with the company I was before, seeing other Black people put on like performance improvement plans, right? Versus their, some of the white coworkers that weren't even close. You got people coming in here drunk as fuck, high as fuck, like spray painting on walls.
Really the entertainment
here. Exactly, right?
Really entertainment.
High as fuck, like spray painting on walls, right? But you got the nerve to put this Black man or woman on a performance improvement. Like, how does that work?
It just vandalized.
Exactly. And this is specifically to fuck with your mental.
Yeah.
And just to give you a warning. Like, you're doing too much. We need to put you in your place. So this is what will happen if you don't. And then those people get scared.
Yeah.
Like, oh my God, I don't know what to do. I'm doing too much. I need to calm down. No. You gotta move. Yeah.
And you gotta move forward. And you can't be afraid to speak up. Especially after everyone is aware that if they're not doing the right thing, the conversation will come up and you have to deal with it, because that's the only, if you don't, then you're going to be condemned.
Right.
And we're trillions of dollars worth and we spend. And if you don't do what you need to do, then we're going to take our money and go other places. And honestly, we should just be reinvesting in ourselves.
I 100% agree.
So that's what's going to happen. But
Blk
listen,
Getaway.
yes, 100%. And it's Blk Getaway. Remember that. But listen, I want to thank you, because we got to wrap it up. I know someone's like probably going to come in and be like, this is not your podcast for anymore.
I'm just talking way too much. I'm so sorry.
No, but
we
listen,
can talk for days.
Like, there's so many. I've had a few guests on. I'm just like, yeah, you gonna have to come back.
Right.
You're gonna have to come back. So I appreciate you coming through.
Thank you so much
on
for
this
having
wonderful
me.
day, looking beautiful with your buttons. Look at the curls bouncing. And bringing so much knowledge and inspiration to the space. And I know people are going to be up on Blk Getaway trying to get that membership going.
Listen,
which
come
is what
through.
you want.
Please
come
do.
through, be open and vulnerable, and ready for change.
Ready for change.
But I'm so blessed to have you on the show, and I really appreciate you and your time.
Thank you so much. It warms my heart that you even asked me to be here, because I admire you and what you're doing with, the CBD space, and like adding the culture and the making it premium too.
Thank you.
I think that's beautiful. So I'm so excited for you and to see what's to come in the future.
Yeah, it's going to be a great 2021.
It'll be bright.
Yes, it will.
Listen, hello.
Even if we have to put a light bulb and just figure out
ring
something.
light. Okay.
Even if it's a little dark, we won't bring light. But no, definitely, I'll see you soon. Mm-hmm. I can't wait till this comes out.
Me too. I'm excited.
Well, thank you.
Yes.
All right, y'all.
Boom.
Thank you.